It's Rewire
Amazing.
Refresh. Rewire
Yes,
Refresh.
rewire fresh. Let's make it better. Woo woo!
Yeah. Just waiting for it to come on board on LinkedIn so I can press go.
Yeah, I'm
And
excited
then
for you listening today.
we're talking mental fitness in the real world.
Yes.
Last time we did leadership in the real world, and I had an amazing book that I reference a lot, and we went through three different random points that we could just have fun with. And we're going to do the
Yeah.
same again for Positive Intelligence, the book,
Mm.
because it's the foundational book of mental fitness training in this in the science of mental fitness. And um, we can do the same again. So let's find out what we know and riff on mental fitness in the real world. So
Yes.
you say when, Michelle?
When?
Some people's saboteurs trick them into getting fixated on extreme cases of tragic loss in order to discredit their sage, true self
Mm.
that they want as an approach, their approach and in their true self. If you find yourself unconvinced that even extreme tragedies can be turned into positive opportunities, that put that aside, put that issue aside as an exception, and instead concern yourself with the 99% of life's challenges that indisputably benefit from the sage true self's perspective.
Mm.
Well, that's straight in the deep end there. So,
Yeah.
what do you get
Hmm.
from that, Michelle?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very relatable because for people who may not have even heard of sage powers, they're like, if we speak of Star Wars terms, they're your inner Jedi, whereas your 10 saboteurs are your Darth Vader. Or some people like to say the devil on the shoulder and the angel on the shoulder. So the angel is the five sage powers which we strive for and we want to live by and through and really embody and embrace them. And so hearing that, I totally get it because believing that there's a gift and an opportunity in every given moment when it's something tragic and we feel a great loss, and usually with that, there's a lot of sadness, fear, and pain. We may take a lot longer to even look or realize those positive lessons and learnings, especially when it comes to grief. And that could be grief with losing a human or a job or a relationship or even a grief in like a loss of identity. And so, yeah, I think having that belief and trust in the process has always helped me personally of knowing that my mission and life in general is much bigger than me myself. So I feel like that peace and that harmony because I have a deep belief of the sage powers and just knowing that it will be okay, I will be okay. There comes that, yeah, calm. So that's my biggest takeaway when you read that. What about you, Rory?
Um, I really appreciated you sharing that because it there is that sense of there's that we're allowed to feel those things.
Mm,
It's not the saboteurs are there for a reason, and it's
yeah.
we're allowed to feel the loss. And so when we feel like it's clouding our true perspective, it's because we're fighting against the actual real
Mm,
feelings. And so if we're fighting against them, we're making ourselves wrong or making something else wrong. And that
mm,
that in itself makes it difficult to then let go and just feel and move through the grief. And so
mm,
I always like to say that it's not trying to find positive in the wrongness because it's already glued as a perspective. So it's saying that it can be rather than looking for it in the moment if it's too difficult. And the
Mm,
whole practice of mental fitness is to separate the signals from the stories first and come back to neutral. And if it's obviously process of feeling them up and down all the time with if they're going through some kind of grieving experience, allowing that space to know that it's a love of the loss, which is the sage approach. But if we're fighting, we just
mm,
have to become neutral first each time, and then we can
yeah.
then even start to look for the gift, as it were, or the opportunity going forwards. And
Mm,
any experience can be looked for once we get the stronger muscle of being sad or upset, and
mm,
then I often like, if with more simple things that feel like it could be a loss, I go, oh, I wonder what's going to happen next. And that's another one of the powers there, the explore power, which is to go,
mm,
I just wonder. I don't have to know. I just wonder what might happen next. And if I can just get into that sense of curiosity phase, then I know I'm already winning in
mhm.
in the sense of mental fitness. And if I'm not, then it could be just rest. It could be just rest. It could be just self-care before trying to think beyond that.
Yeah, and I absolutely love that you've said that, Rory, because sometimes, a lot of the time, us humans can really expect the worst and actually just sit with those feelings. And sometimes we so scared that the pain is gonna, or any emotion, sadness, whatever it is gonna be such a huge wave that we are unable to handle. I'll repeat, like I always do, all fears come down to, can I handle this? So if this is really speaking to you, listening and relating, then actually take that time to sit and to feel. Because when we change our perspective of especially emotions, rather than holding them in or putting them under the rug, have that perspective and that mindset of what is coming up to be released. I got goosebumps saying that. Release it, like we're holding onto it, and speak to yourself like you would a friend. The smallest choice and the smallest positive self-talk I've really practiced in the last week, and I have responded so lovely. I've not reacted, I've responded in a really loving way, my higher self. So wanted to put that 2 pence in. Mm.
Excellent. Well done.
Okay,
Amazing.
Rory,
All right.
your turn, right? Pretend I'm doing that with the pages.
Oh, just going to check if this is just telling me about the book. So I'm going to move on to the next page. It's got to make a reference rather than just being like a long story. Um, so as a former engineer, I have this is the founder of the positive intelligence. As a former engineer, work this is about work and life applications. As a former engineer, I have always loved the elegance and power of operating systems. For example, both Apple and Google corporations operating systems for smartphones define the number of standard building blocks and of functionality. The This allows hundreds of apps to apply to those building blocks to accomplish many diverse tasks. Until the advent of positive intelligence, there had been no common operating system in personal and professional development. For example, if you look at at the management development catalog of a typical global company, you will find that each program in a training catalog uses its own standalone framework, the 5 steps of conflict resolution, the secret steps of optimal productivity and XYZ model for selling and persuading. There's the key reason why, well, and I'll summarize this now because it's going to go on for, but there are three key pillars um, um, to positive intelligence and the mental fitness to catch the saboteurs, self-command back to neutral first, and then look at going into the sage powers. And it goes across the board. Which so the idea there is that when that is installed as an operating system to define all thoughts, all feelings through three simple things every single time for everything. Relationships is an app, an application. Uh, uh, conflict management is an app. Uh, all these different types of things that we can apply it to applying our operating system. Once we've installed it in our minds, we're able to diffuse it through those processes and it becomes so much simpler.
Wow. So our brain is just like a mobile phone. We have apps, we can uninstall and install what we want to use and how we want to operate. And we can have systems in place to make life easier. And that's why I love NLP in particular, because it's rewiring, it's reprogramming your brain, just like this, for example, using a phone as an example. That phone sometimes needs a reset and an update. And so, with all that said, Rory, what are you picking up from this?
Um, I just think that, this idea of problem solving without being in the sage perspective of the true self and the calm, clear-headed looking at the problem, we're just going to find more problems within the problems. So that's the thing of all of these different things, like what do I do with the relationship, or what do I do with this job or this idea? If I'm, how are we feeling and what we're looking into to define it and go, what what am I prolonging in the wronging of it? And what I call prolonging the wronging is to have that thing and then make it wrong. And then if I'm coming from a fixed judgment perspective rather than an open, expansive sage perspective, looking at it. And so it's and somewhere in between just self-commanding back to neutral again. So what I'm getting from it is that it's really useful to notice and install this three-step approach to problem solving in the real world, and how to go about it is just a great system. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And if you're wondering more about that, then drop us a message, because it is a whole program, a whole system, and it's very, very powerful. Okay, should we do our last page?
Yes. Ready?
Yeah. When?
That was exactly the same page as the first time.
No way.
Exactly.
Okay.
So I want to talk about that one again. Let's do it again.
When?
When you feel the need to go to the bathroom and you remember that you promised yourself that if you do a few reps during the bathroom visit, you notice the feel of the carpet under your feet as you walk into the washroom. You notice the warmth of the water in your hands as you wash. You notice the sound of the water. You notice the texture of the paper towel as you dry your hands. You remain aware of your physical sensations for almost half a minute before you drift away to your racing thoughts. So you decide to give yourself half the counts possible in a minute, 3 reps.
Wow. So yeah, straight away when you said about PQ rep in the bathroom, I just instantly thought of James Clear Atomic Habits of stacking. Start a habit on on something else that you already do, right? I'm going to the bathroom. Okay, I now know when I go to the bathroom, I'm going to PQ rep. I'm going to exercise my brain, which is very, very useful. And then that awareness, really being conscious, and also takes you back to gratitude and just slows your whole day and your whole nervous system down. I always do 2 minutes every 3 hours. So 9, 12, 3, 6, 9. Like it's just a minimum 2 minutes every time. And also, if you're starting a new habit, such as this one, or even being aware, 2 minute rule, only 2 minutes. Yeah, I want to hula hoop for 10 minutes. Have you hula hooped at all? No. Okay, start with 2 minutes, not 10. So yeah, I really, really like that. And I can see and imagine and feel how relaxing and coming back to neutral that will be. Mm.
Lovely. Um, I like the way you brought in the habit stacking and how they build on each other. And so if you're watching a PQ rep in itself is a sense of sticking to one sensation for 10 seconds or more. And it doesn't matter about whether you get clouded by another thought or not, but just coming back to that
Mm.
sensation, uh, triggering one area of the brain to stay out of the story, to stay out of meanings, problem solving, back into the sensation. Might the basically the building blocks of mindfulness. 10 seconds minimum is what will help to rebuild, and want the brain will want that again, and it starts to build the self command to want to do that more and more and more. And so
Mm.
what you said about how it stacks and goes from one thing to the next, using a
Mhm.
whole experience like going to the bathroom as an opportunity to go, and it also starts to connect in with the activate power, which is one of the fifth sage powers, which is to anticipate when you want to do your mental fitness training and seeing yourself doing it and then declaring it, or just basically even imagining yourself doing it when you next go and do that thing so that you remember to do it, is part of coming back round to the actual creating fitness, rather than just going,
Yeah.
oh, I did it, but I forgot again, or I did my whole day and didn't do that thing again. So
Mhm.
so it comes back round to, as we read that, we would activate powering the next time we go to the bathroom. We'll remember to do
Yeah.
that practice some more, and as it builds with each sensation as we go into it, then we're more likely to remember to want to do that again and again, stronger and stronger.
Yeah, beautiful, Rory. Well said. And bringing imagination to the forefront as well, because it is a tool and it is to be used and utilized every day. And that really just strengthen all of the sage powers in particular, especially when you're thinking of limitless possibilities and opportunities, and actually allowing yourself to dream big, dream huge, like just dream, right? Anything is possible when you believe in yourself, right? So just having that self-trust, that self-love, all of these small things compound to extraordinary results. And that's what I call the dream lifestyle. Because what you said earlier was all different areas of your life, relationships, communication, work, you know, if you're a mum, like all of that comes really nicely tied in a big bow. So yeah, amazing as always.
Fantastic. Thanks for watching, everyone. Rewire, let's make it better. Mental fitness in the real world. If you liked this, give us a little shout in the comments of what you liked, highlights, questions, comments, anything that brings the sense of you remembering, activate powering back into remembering what you liked about it is what we'll remember for later. And you share that and ripple effect it out to the others, then you are a leader in the world, whether you like it or not. And and so Michelle, what do you have on offer at the moment that if people wanted to get involved with what you want, what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, so I'm really all about simple yet powerful and effective. And it's all these daily practices, starting with 2 minutes, that really change your life. So I've actually got an easy peasy guide, which is release to rise. So you're releasing what no longer serves you to rise. And it's it's a 3 minute guide. And if you listen to that, read it, and actually do it every single day, the results, even after a few days, are very expansive. So that's what I have to offer, and I'll pop it in the notes as well.
Fantastic,
What
amazing.
about you?
I'm looking for the next four people in my year-long mentorship to work with them to get their projects out. They're neurodivergent, heart-centered, creative professionals and founders that want to get through that procrastination quickly and well, say quickly, get it through in under a year, make that project out there, get feedback from it, make it happen, and do it with ease and flow, not not just struggling. So getting past that scatter, the procrastination and perfectionism. So, I'm here to have calls about it. I've got an application process, but if anyone wants to know, there's a 3 minute video just to watch to know more, and then you can click through to apply to work with me.
Amazing. Yay! Oh, sounds fantastic. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks for watching, everyone. Rewire, refresh. Let's make it better.